You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. Yeah, we Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairin', gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like them other guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairin' on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairin' on them, Ric Flairin' on them, Ric Flairin' on them, Ric Flairin' son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, you going crazy for this one. We see what you're doing, we salute you. Hey, let's get it started. It's Backpack Capital One. What's in your wallet? Got a call from my man A. Scott. I said I got it. Love that you highlighting all of these black colleges. Try to pay me for doing this. Look, bruh, if you don't get off my line with that foolishness, voice of the SWAC, pull up where you at, no cap. If the Brody is speaking the soft facts, my advice, tune in to every show. Captain Petty, but we know that the sergeants are with the smoke. Speculate, just tell me what is we doing. Get into it, okay, look, I'ma say this and keep it moving. My boy Scotty, man, he offered the leash. Black grad, paying college, I'm glad that he called me. Walking, cause we all been taught that talk is cheap. Even primetime knows Scott for the HBCU streets.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Scotty, man, back with another one, man. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, what day we on? Thursday? I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday, man. Listen, it feels good to be back. A lot of people been hitting me up like, Scotty, when's the next show? When's the next show? When's the next show? Hope it's not about FAMU. I'm like, hey, hey, listen. Listen, FAMU pays the bills right now, okay? Listen, good, better, and different. FAMU is paying the bills, okay? So that just is what it is. I don't have a problem with that, but making sure, I get back into kind of the flow of the swing of this thing and doing some other shows, man. So listen, today, I got a full pack show. We're gonna talk some SWAC. We're gonna talk it's a couple stuff that I haven't talked about in a while. I know people ask me about it. They DM me, Instagram me, and stuff like that, and I've talked to people individually, but I haven't came on the show and gave my opinion about it. So I'm talking a little bit about some SWAC stuff, some football stuff, and then we're going to talk about this daddy ball. We're going to talk about this daddy ball that I've been talking about for 4 years. Listen, when this article now I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I want to be very clear. When the podcast dropped and the snippets were going around, all I was saying was, I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was swearing, but I told y'all. I've been screaming this from the mountaintops for 4 years. 4 years I have told you time and time and time again that this Bama was not recruiting anybody in his son's position, and everybody called me a hater. Everybody said I'm a liar. Everybody said Sky don't know what he's talking about. But again, as it always does, the truth, my fellows, the truth shall set you free. I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was swearing, but I told y'all. And it's perfect that I'm doing this show on Juneteenth, because some of you guys got that Deion slave mentality. I'm here to break the chains. I'm here to break the chains. Free you. Free you from the Deion juice. From the Deion nutsack defenders. All that. Trying to expand your mind, okay? But we're going to get into that. Oh, first, before we get any further, let me give a shout out to my guy, Mr. 32K TV from Delaware State. He hooked your boy up. He sent me some Delaware State gear.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with them.
And I told him, I said, I'm not going to take nothing out the box until I do it on my show. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. 32K TV on he hit me with some Delaware State gear. So listen, I had this for a week now. I haven't done a show about like a regular show. It's been about FAMU for the goddamn last week or so. So I'm literally taking it out of the box, right? Still got the packaging. I'm telling you, I ain't touched nothing. Look at this. Ooh! I ain't never asked for Delaware State merch. But I got some now, because Deshaun Jackson, baby. That's nice. That's nice right there. You got to get ready. You got to be ready, okay? If you stay ready, you never got to get ready, okay? Let me get some of this. Let me see what else I got. What's else I got? Got the long sleeve, okay. 302 Delaware, repping, okay, 302. Maryland 301. Maryland 301, baby. You know what I'm saying? So just want to give a shout out. Long sleeve. Delaware ain't that big, so they put the little state on the back right there. It ain't that big, you know what I'm saying? So shout out. And then he got me a hoodie. I love my hoodies. I love me some hoodies. Boy, he got this thing tucked in. Boy, you must have worked at the mall. This thing tucked nice. Woo-wee! Woo! Baby! I'm telling you, when them Hornets come into town with Deshaun Jackson, it's going to be different, baby. It's going to be different. Y'all better get on the bandwagon now, okay? You better get on the bandwagon now. I'm trying to tell y'all, okay? Okay, I like that. That's nice. That's nice. Shout out to my guy, man. Appreciate you, bro. I told you I was going to put on the channel, and I wanted to give you some respect for that, man. I really appreciate your support and sending me that stuff, man. Now, again, back in my earlier days, I was getting merch all the time, but, a lot of y'all don't like me like I used to. So, yeah, I don't get as much as I used to. Shout out to my guy, Sutton. He sent me some Hampton gear. Still don't got no NCCU gear. What else I don't got? I got this PV shirt, but I used it to wash my car. No, let me see. Let me see. I got this PV shirt. I forgot where I got it from. You know what I'm saying? I forgot where I got it from. But this is my sweat rag. All right, this is my sweat rag. You ain't gonna catch me wearing no PV stuff. But this is my sweat rag. Shut up. But again, I do like Tremaine though. I do like Tremaine. But this is my sweat rag. When it be getting hot in my office, I'm like, ooh, Jesus, that's my sweat rag. So got that. Got my Grambling shirt on right now. I got FAMU gear galore. Okay, I got FAMU gear out the wazoo. I got Alabama State gear out the wazoo. I got Alabama A&M gear. Hey, listen, real talk though, I be rocking these janks. These janks right here. Shout out to my boy Dr. Bryant from the gifts department. They sent me them A&M Nikes. Them janks comfy as a mug. What else I got? Those are my A&M sneaks. What else I got? Oh, I'm trying to think. I ain't got no Norfolk State gear. My boy Tommy supposed to hook me up. The GM at Norfolk ain't hooked me up. Ain't sent me nothing. Not a nothing. What else? Who else I supposed to? Who else I don't got? Let me think. That's it. That's all I got. Can't think of nobody else. I got a little Valley stuff here and there, but nothing too crazy. All right, let's get into today's show, man. Listen, I got a lot of stuff to get to. All right, and let's just say this, right? So, my son plays no matter what. Now that's the title. We gonna get to that. I promise you. We gonna get to that. But as of right now, we gonna work our way in there. Now, I gotta talk about this, right? And the thing for me is this. I want to be very clear. Valley it's a win-win for Valley, right? Because again, now I liked Valley's home field advantage. I liked the field. I liked that it wasn't turfed. I mean, a lot of you Bammers haven't been to Enabina. Me and my lovely wife have been down to Enabina. I got more SWAC hours than a lot of you Bammers, okay? I know a lot of you Bammers ain't been to Enabina. I've been there, done that, stayed there, slept there, got bit by the birds, mosquitoes. I did all that, all right? Shout out, me and Mr. Campbell was in that joker, all right? In there, all right? Now, my thing is this. It's not a lose-lose situation because they get their expenses paid. They get to go up there, get to be in the Mercedes-Benz Dome and all that type of stuff. I think it's an amazing atmosphere because a lot of teams don't get to play in the Mercedes-Benz Dome because it's a Celebration Bowl event, right? So if you're able to take your team and play there when you can, I think it's a great experience for all the players. I think any player that's able to play in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, it should be an opportunity of a lifetime. So shout out to Valley for making that happen. Shout out to the ADs that put that together and made it work. So I'm not mad at it. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a FAMU home game. But at the end of the day, you're not playing in Enabina, so it ain't nothing wrong. Because ain't nobody showing up in Enabina. They barely show up for homecoming. So, do what you can. Do what you can. Do as you must. Now, next up. Now, y'all remember I posted this. I put this up there maybe about a month ago. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month ago, I put this up, and I called Tremaine Jackson a culture changer. Now, I'm not going to, listen to me very carefully. I'm not contradicting myself when I say this. All right? This is huge. Now, I get it. Listen, please, I'm not contradicting because I don't Scotty, when Jackson State did it, when we were number one. Listen, it doesn't take away that I do not believe that the last 3 first class people, like the last 3 teams that had like the number 1 rating in the SWAC for transfers or recruiting class hasn't won anything, if I'm not mistaken. I think the last 3 or last 4 have not won anything. Now, that being said, when have you ever known PV to even be in the conversation? That's why I'm saying this is big for PV. I'm not saying they're going to win anything. That's what I'm not saying. Listen to me very carefully. I'm not saying that PV is automatically in the driver's seat to win it. I'm not saying that at all, because I'm clarifying my comments, right? At the end of the day, it is still a circumstance to where you have to go out and win the games. But again, when has PV ever been in this conversation to have the number 1 of anything? And that goes back to my point of Coach Tremaine Jackson being the culture changer that he is. Now, I get it. I'm not a fan of the 12 fans as much as you are, right? The 12 fans are whistling Dixie, okay? And you know, it don't take Lionel much to go put a new shirt up, okay? You give him a donut and a glass of milk. Oh, we going to the championship. Oh, PV going to the championship. Ah! I mean, he go Goku Super Saiyan 3000, and now he dropping new merch like, oh, Dog Extreme, oh, Dog X, PV, baby, go whatever, right? So it don't take much for the 12 fans to get rowdy up. But all I'm saying though, all right, all I am saying is Coach Tremaine Jackson does have a pedigree of winning, no matter D2 or not. And he has a pedigree of bringing his style and flair to the program that he is coaching at. So I believe that his style and the way that he operates and the way that he goes about doing the things that he does put him in this position to be the number 1 ranked class in the SWAC, which I think is huge for PV. Doesn't mean they're going to win anything. Doesn't mean they're my favorites to win the Celebration Bowl or nothing like that. But you have to respect a first-year D1 head coach coming into the SWAC and recruiting against the juggernauts of a Jackson, a FAM, or Alabama State. You got to give him kudos for that. Again, because Bama's love to nitpick. I'm not saying they about to slide into a championship and they're a championship contender. I do think they are sleepers in this thing. But I will say this. 9-3 with Tremaine is different than a 9-3 with Bubba. And the reason is because I really believe there will be excitement behind the program because of the energy that he brings to the program. So instead of somebody in the wings, it's okay. How I look at it is like this. It's like if you go to a restaurant, right? And your friend tells you about a restaurant and you eat there and you're like, oh man, this is pretty good. And you're like, man, nobody ever talks about this. Y'all don't do no promotion. Y'all don't do no marketing. Nah, man, we just, if people want good food, they know where to find us. How do they know where to find you? You don't do any marketing or anything. That is what Bubba McDowell is. Okay? Like, that's Bubba McDowell. That's what I feel. Now, I feel like with Coach Tremaine Jackson, you know what I'm saying? He like McDowell from Coming to America. He like, hey, I'm doing the same thing them white boys doing. We got 2 special beef patties, sesame seed bun. You know what I'm saying? They got the golden arches. I got the golden Mick. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's that type of promotion. He's that big of a personality. He's going to show you what Prairie View and what Texas has to offer for you to come to Prairie View. Instead of Bubba McDowell just sitting in the back like, well, I mean, God said they're going to come where they're going to come. It's like, dog, get out there. Hey, Do something. Say something. Get on the corner and shake a sign or something, right? You don't have to worry about that with Tremaine. Tremaine going to give you all that and some, right? He going to give you the flair. He going to give you all the stuff that you've been asking for. He's going to give all that. So to me, it's like I think the culture changer is a lot of it is just simply showing off PV in a proper way that is going to generate attention and generate excitement. And even if it's not about the institution, it's about the coach, right? Because again, a lot of people go to Ole Miss because yes, they're PWI, they got money, but a lot of people go to Ole Miss because of Lane Kiffin. A lot of people went to Michigan because of Jim Harbaugh. Same thing with the coach from Oregon, right? Like these coaches have a personality that brings kids in and it engulfs them like, oh man, I like this coach, man. I like his style. I like his vigor. I like this. I like that, right? So you gotta put some sauce in it. You gotta spice it up. You gotta do that. And I think that's what Coach Tremaine Jackson is doing down at PV. And I like it. Again, I don't think he's gonna get fans to come out. I don't think he's going to get fans to come out, but I do believe there will be an excitement that PV hasn't seen in a while just to kind of watch and see how they play out. And if he runs the table, and he has every chance, he has every opportunity to run the table this year. The schedule is set up perfectly for him to run the table. So, but we'll leave it at that. I'll let Lionel hype them up until they can't be hyped up anymore. All right. Now listen. Can we talk about this, man? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I go to the hood and people be driving Benzes and Range Rovers and I'm like, bro, you're in the hood. I do not understand. I truly, and it's not even like a knock on the SWAC. Like when I look at the landscape of college athletics, and I'm looking at football college athletics, right? And I'm seeing institutions that have the resources and that have the money get out of a conference or move away from here or don't opt in because they're trying to save money. And then the conference that does the most begging from the alums that do the most begging from the commission that does the most begging. Like, make that make sense to me that the people that are on the tightest budget jump into this thing full steam ahead. And then on top of that, don't even put a cap on scholarships. So again, you have schools in your conference that can't even fund the 60 scholarships that as an FCS program is supposed to have. You have programs that can't even fund that. And now you have an uncapped scholarship. So essentially, how I look at it, again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the most colorful crayon. But just how my brain operates is I look at it like, so are you telling me this? You're telling me that you're literally turning the inside of your conference into the haves and the have-nots. They were already there. Right? But now it feels like the inside of your own conference is going to be the haves and the have-nots, the programs that can fund the 80, 90 scholarships over programs that could barely do the 60. I didn't understand it. I really didn't. And again, it just doesn't make logical sense to me. Now, for what I asked a couple ADs and they were just saying like it puts the cost on the whole conference instead of individual schools. I don't know what that means. Maybe the conference picks up the bill. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because in the same token, right? In the same token, Sam Herder, FCS correspondent, probably, next to Blue is probably one of the top FCS insiders, right? Says FCS level budgets are barely getting by right now. I don't envision many schools being able to afford to add that many more scholarships, especially considering Title IX. Again, this is from one of the top FCS insiders, and he's not on the black side. He's predominantly on the white side, right? So he's looking at the PWIs that we all don't like to talk about and saying if they're having a hard time, and you're talking about state institutions, you're talking about I think the Big Sky Conference, opted out, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the Missouri Valley Football Conference is supposed to be making the decision whether or not to opt in or opt out. I know the CAA has opted in. I know the Patriot League has opted out, right? So and again, in a lot of these conferences, they have more money and have more notoriety than a lot of our HBCUs that are opting into this house settlement, and it just makes me leery. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's dumb. I'm not saying it's stupid. It just makes you look at it and say, That's all it does, right? Like again, like you're driving in the hood and you see a beat up house and it got a Mercedes in front of it. It's like, that's weird, and you just keep on going about your merry way. You get what I'm saying? So, again, I can't just flat out say, I think this is dumb. I can't, because I don't know all the ins and outs of how this could help or hurt institutions. All I'm saying is that I have it's just hard for me to understand exactly. Let me bring this comment up real quick. Where is the money coming from? Again, we're talking about institutions that are God, dog, man. All I hear for the last 4 years, all I've heard, well, if we get our money, well, if we get our money, well, you ain't gotten it. You haven't gotten it. You haven't been getting it. And you're talking about, our athletic budgets are this and it just doesn't make any sense to me. What revenue are you splitting? I mean, come on, man. Like, if you're saying, okay, guaranteed money from the G5s or Power 5s, well, Power 4, it's going to get to a point. It's going to get to a point where at some point in time, there has to be a meeting of the minds or understanding the dynamics of what is going on, because Power 4 is going to get to the point where they're not going to allow, hey, Rocky, I'm going to do this, but I don't know if it's going to work because I don't know how ECAN works with my free conference call. So I'm gonna see if it works, but if it don't.
There is one other participant in the conference.
Hey, I'm going to need you guys' help, okay? I'm going to bring Rocky on in a few. If you can hear him, put a thumbs up. If I start talking back to him and you can't hear him, put a thumbs down or say you can't hear him or whatever. All right, but real quick, let me say this before I bring up Rocky. The Power 4s are going to get to a point where they're not going to be allowed to play FCS opponents. That's coming. That's coming down the pipeline, all right? So then that takes out Power 4. Now you're going to be in a situation with G5s, And what does that look like? What does that guaranteed money look like? You know, the 175s, the 150s, the 200,000s. If that's what you're banking on to be splitting money with revenue, okay, then, you know, albeit, do your thing, whatever. But I'm just, somebody gonna have to tell me where this revenue sharing is gonna be coming in at, because I don't get it. I don't get it, because your contract money ain't like that. Your media deal ain't like that. So where's all this coming from? Rocky, coming to you. Okay. Louisiana, they raised the gambling taxes, so each D1 institution will receive an additional $2 million for scholarships. That's great. That's great. I mean, okay, but everybody's not in Louisiana. So that's great for Grambling, and again, that's great for Southern. But again, listen, I keep saying this, and I'm gonna always keep saying it. If I give you the money, the question is how are you spending it? What is it going towards? He's not talking. He's not talking. I'm sorry. He's not talking right now. I'm sorry, guys. But where is it going towards? What is it doing? How is all this coming about? And then making sense off that. All right. Now, Rocky is about to come on. Hey, what's up, Rock?
Hey, man. Can you hear me, man?
I can hear you. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear you because I haven't done this with Ecamm. So, you know, I'm trying. But go ahead.
Well, let's do a test right quick. Anyway, hopefully they can hear me, Scotty. But I think my question is, I understand opting in to be able to compensate players, but here's the problem I see. How they gonna pay the $300,000 a year per school though?
Oh, they said they can hear you. Great.
Like that's
well, I don't know, Rock. And again, the ADs that I talked to said that the conference was supposed to chip in and help with the overall cost of it. So, you know, hopefully, but then you got to think about the programs like UAPB, Valley. You know what I'm saying? Like $300,000 is a lot to those programs.
The whole payday for a game.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's what.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me. If it ultimately is cut in to the budget of the football program, and then you know the players have to go. Because here's my deal. Like I say, I'm not throwing shade here. I'm just being honest. How can you afford to help the NCAA pay off of a settlement, right?
Yeah.
That largely the SWAC didn't receive any of those billions that the Power 5 schools received and didn't compensate the players, you know? And I understand other than the schools having the ability to compensate players. I get that. But why wouldn't like schools like Ohio State and Michigan and Nebraska, why shouldn't they pay a larger portion of the settlement? Because they're the schools that really gain the benefit from not compensating players. That's my question. Like, I don't understand how they came up with the notion that a school like Prairie View or a school like Alcorn should pay $300,000, which is equal to what Michigan and Nebraska should pay. I don't get that. I understand them pooling their money together so that they can lower the expense for each school compensating, you know, paying into this settlement. But I don't think Michigan should pay. I mean, I don't think Alcorn should pay the same amount as Michigan or pay the same amount as Nebraska. You know, if somebody's out there that can make this make sense to me, please come on here and explain it. I understand you have to opt in order to compensate the players, right, Scotty?
Yeah.
My understanding.
Yeah.
If you don't opt in, you can't pay the players.
Yeah.
Right? I get that. I think that part of it, in my opinion, I think the SWAC had to. The SWAC had to opt in because who needs the money more than our kids?
That's fair. You know, the extra income. So I like what EA said. He said, Rock, it's coming from the NCAA payouts to the conference. So if it's $600K from the NCAA, $230K, so it will be $370. So what I'm thinking is that if the conference is getting paid a certain amount, let's say they get paid $500K. Well, for the next 10 years, they won't get the $500K. They only get $200K because $300 of it is going back to the NCAA to pay for the settlement. That's what I'm getting from what EA is saying.
But you can say it like that, but it's still a budget impact to the school.
Yeah.
That just means it's taken out of your check. That's just like child support. That's all that is.
Hey, before you see it, it's gone.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's child support. And again, explain to me why Alcorn, why Mississippi Valley, why Prairie View and Grambling should pay the same amount as Michigan, Nebraska, University of Texas. That's my point. I don't get that. That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. And again, you guys are, the people that historically have been part of HBCUs for a number of years. Do you think it's fair that over the course of 10 years, Grambling should pay $3 million to the NCAA for a house settlement that they didn't get
any benefit from? Yeah,
$3 million in value.
I think that's absolutely fair. I didn't understand why the FCS conference as a whole didn't push back, right? Like why the commissioners didn't get together and say, no, we're not. None of our players would have benefited from NIL because we never had the money to do it in the first place. So why are we being fined for a situation where we would have never benefited from in the first place? So that I did not understand why the FCS conferences did not come together, or why the commissioners didn't get together and say, hey, listen, we really got to push back on this and say, why are they hindering our schools, which would have never benefited from it in the first place? And they should have left it to the G5 and Power 5 and gone with that. But that's not how it is. That's not how it played out. And this is where you're at.
Yeah, man, it seems like welfare that they're paying to more wealthy institutions. That's what it sounds like to me. Why should Alcorn, why should Mississippi Valley pay welfare to the University of Michigan, University of Texas, Nebraska? Man, it just doesn't make any sense to me, man. Hey, but I'll keep listening, Scotty.
Appreciate it, Rob.
But if anybody can make that make sense to me, please call in and explain it to Scotty.
My bad, Rob. Appreciate you though. Okay, I like what I do like what Ron Ton said, right? He says they had no leverage to push back. In theory, they could simply go down to D2 if they can't afford it. Now, listen, again, a D1 and D2 thing is a pride thing at this point, right? Like Valley needs to be D2. UAPB needs to be D2. It's a pride point. It's a pride situation. Like, I'm a D1 institution. Yeah, but you're broke. You know what I'm saying? It's being house rich but broke, right? Like people say, when you buy a house out of your budget and now everything is going to the home and you don't have any money to live off of, right? I never forget, my mom was like, I was talking to my mom about her house. I got probably like 16 or 17. And I asked her why she got the house she got. She said, baby, I didn't want us to eat ramen noodles, right? Like if I would have got this big old house and it's just me and you, right? And we would have been eating ramen noodles. So we would have been house rich, but technically broke, right? So again, it's one of those situations where being a D1 institution, yeah, it looks nice, it sounds nice, but at the end of the day, you're just house rich and broke because you're trying to live up to this mantra and this status of being a D1 institution and you're barely getting by. And when I mean like the lady, like barely, okay, barely getting by. So it is what it is, right? So that's just my little 2 cents on that. I just don't understand it, right? And like I said, Ron Town does have a point. You could, again, it's like, hey, you don't got to be up here. You are more than welcome to go and be D2. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm trying to find something real quick. Do-do-do. Is it true if you don't opt in, you couldn't play FBS opponents for? I do not know that. House Rich Cash Broke. There you go. Thank you so much. House Rich Cash Broke. This shit is grimier than All-Star Baseball selection. Hey! Oh! Let me tell you. Listen, if you do not follow me on Twitter, KP, you just set me off. Now listen. I'm going to go off script real quick. Stay with me, right? KP does set me off. Listen, if you don't follow me on Twitter, then you don't understand what I'm about to say. But I got to get this off my chest, right? So this year, it was my son's first year playing baseball, right? I'm not I've never, listen, I played baseball probably, I played T-ball, and I was trying to play baseball in middle school. I was in line to get a grounder. The guy in front of me, they hit the ball. It took a bad hop, hit him in the eye. It started leaking. I dropped my glove and never walked back on a baseball field. So when I say I don't know nothing about I watch baseball. I know how the game works, but I don't know any of the intricacies. Anyway, so my wife was like, I think Sha'd be a great baseball player, right? So she's like, I think we should try it. So I put him into baseball. Shout out to the wife. She made the suggestion. So we put him in baseball. Everything I taught my son was off of YouTube University. I'm just saying, I'm just YouTubing every night. You can ask my wife. I'm watching baseball YouTube videos every single night, right? So I'm doing all that. Bear with me, it's story time, right? So now we get to the season. My son, again, first-year baseball player, batting third. He was supposed to be playing third base, but he messed up his elbow in the beginning of the season, so he couldn't throw. So they put him on first base. He loved it. Getting all the action, you know what I'm saying? Awesome first baseman doing his thing. Now, mind you, in 12 games, my son has only struck out 5 times. 5 times. And the reason I know it's 5 times because he cried every single time he struck out. Right? One game he struck out twice, and then it was like some sporadic ones up, but he cried every time. Every single time he struck out, he cried. Now, mind you, so my son is the only player on the team to have a home run. Matter of fact, 2 of them, right? He's the only player on the team to have that. Now, my son is the only player on the team to have a double play by himself, right? My son's the only black kid on the team as well. So, last Thursday, me and my wife, we at practice. My wife overhears the coach's wife talking about all-stars. I'm like, okay. I know my son. I know my son in it. I know my son gotta be an all-star. He killing, right? So my wife's like, who's the all-star? She's like, well, the coaches pick it and stuff like that. So then I come sit down. My wife's like, babe, did the coach? Because I'm in a group chat with these 2 Bamas, right? These 2 white Bamas. I'm in a group chat. Now, both of their kids are on the team, right? Both of their kids playing this. Both of their kids are 8. The reason that they coached was so that their kid could play up. This is 10U, right? They're 8. They moved them up so the kids could do kid pitch. They didn't want them to do coach pitch anymore, right? So, okay, cool, whatever. So I sit down. My wife's like, babe, did you hear them talk about all-stars? Do you know anything about all-stars? I'm like, nah, I don't know nothing about no all-stars. And then she said, the coaches picked them. So, you know me, I went to the coach. I went up to the coach. I said, hey, coach, what's up with all-stars? He said, yeah, that's this Friday. I said, who's going? He said, Kyler, Cold. That's one of the coach's sons. He's a pitcher. He's 8. He's the nastiest thing I ever seen in my life. Cold. He's an all-star. He said Keller. I said, oh, okay, cool. Keller, he plays third base. His older brother plays baseball. He's a really solid player. No issues with that. He said Chuck, which is the other coach's son, right? And then he says another kid's name. And I'm like, I looked at him like James Harden. You remember that interview when James Harden, looked at and then wrote? I was pissed. I'm talking about 38 hot pissed. Because I'm like, there's not 4 kids on this goddamn team that is better than my son. And I'm not that dad that's like, oh, my son is great. And listen, I'm a realist, right? Because of how I am and how my mama is, I'm a realist. So I'm like, first of all, so now I'm pissed. I'm 38 hot. Don't talk to me. I'm steaming, right? Yeah, the Westbrook. What? I'm pissed. So that's Thursday. Now they got a playoff game on Monday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm telling you, I am contemplating pulling my son from the game. I'm like, fuck this. Like, we not playing. Like, you think y'all better than... If you telling me you got 4 kids that's better than my son don't need to play. You get what I'm saying? Like, he don't need to play, right? So I'm twirling. I'm twirling. So my wife is like, I send a text message and I say, hey babe, can you check over? She's like, I really don't think you should say it like that. Cause I was like, in my text message, I was like, there's not 4 kids on this team that's better than my son. Why is my son not an all-star, right? She was like, I wouldn't say it like that. It's more like, Shai didn't make all-stars, so, what can he do to make all-stars? Let me read to you. Let me read to you what he said. Okay? I want to read to you because I need y'all to understand how pissed I was. I'm going to read you what I said. I said, this is what I said to him. And Key helped me. I said, when I tell you I appreciate you guys for everything you've done for my son, I truly do. But the 2 players on the team, the two top players on the team are Kyler and Keller. I just wanted to know, what does Shai need to do? That's the key part. What does Shai need to work on and why he wasn't selected as one of the all-star players? This is the coach's response. Listen to this. I need y'all to listen to this. He says, absolutely, man. We love coaching these boys. You know what? Can I bring this up? I'm going to screenshot to see if I can bring it up so y'all can see it. I want y'all to read it. Because I need y'all to see this. Because I was pissed. Let me see what I'm going to duplicate this. And then I'm going to put this here. Let me see. Boom. Okay, boom. Okay, boom. I'm going to shrink it down so y'all can see this. Oh! I lost it. Darn it. Let me see. Edit. Undo move. Undo resize. Here we go. Okay. All right. Work with me, guys. This is all a new program. If I was on StreamYard, I would have had this up. All right. All right. I think that's good enough. Let me know if y'all can see this. All right. Bam. Here we go. All right. It says, absolutely, man. We love coaching these boys, and that's what we do. Chad and I had a lengthy discussion about it based off a number of factors. Positioning being one of them, needing a pitcher and a catcher, as well as statistics through the season. Charlie, who is his son, and Keller both had the highest on-base percentage, walks included, which is plate discipline on the team as well as fielding. Now listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. His son is like 4'1". It's kid pitch. Everybody gets walked in kid pitch. You get what I'm saying? Everybody gets walked in kid pitch. My son was the only kid on the team that had a home run. Also, based off the length of play, they've all played 5 or more seasons. The first 2 years, I didn't select Charlie, that's his son, for All-Star because he wasn't really good enough. He still wasn't. Don't get us wrong. We've seen massive improvement from Shy since the start of the season, especially working from injury. It is his first season. Repetition is key. We also know all the work you put in with him, and it shows massively. He just needs to keep at it. He's a natural athlete, and we hope to be able to coach him in the future. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me very. I was fucking pissed. So now, mind you, now we going. So, you know, I've been teaching my kids integrity and everything. So I let Shy play. Right? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let Shy play. I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna let him play. I don't want him to hurt the team. Right? That was my biggest thing. I was like, I don't want him to hurt the team because, you know, they were the best team in the league. They were 10-2. You know what I'm saying? The number 1 seed, and they're in the semifinals for playoffs. You know what? I don't want to hurt the team. Now, the All-Star, my son, right? My son. This what he ends up doing. The score at this point was 3-1. We down.
You good. Keep your eye on it all the way in. Pitch to you. You're good. Hey, you're good. Have fun. You're good. Take a step back and swing. Just gotta connect. That's all you have to do. He's gone. There it is.
There you go. 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 Go, 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 go.
Side the park home run. In a playoff game that we needed to win. He had, let me tell you his stats. He went 2 for 3 inside the park home run and a double in the playoff game. Ask me what the kids that he picked for All-Stars, ask me what they hit for. Ask me what they hit for. The catcher, 0-4, 0-3. The pitcher, his son, he was 0 for 3. Keller was the only, my son and Keller were the only kids that got hits. They both went 2 for 3. You get what I'm saying? When I tell you I was hot, I was 38 hot. But, hey, dog, telling you, pissed. Pissed was not the word. So, I'm done with that team. Oh, no, it's nothing they can say to bring me back to that team. I'm done. We looking at travel ball, right? Because I want him to get better training. I want him to get a coach, and I'm doing everything I can to find him some trainers up here in Ohio so we can train, we can get better. He's going into football season as well, so it's a thing. But KP, you got me started because I'm trying to tell you, KP, I was 38 hot. I was 30. That's my story time. That's my story time. So if anybody, listen, anybody who saw it on Twitter, anybody who commented on Twitter, I just want to say I appreciate all y'all because I did not know how political baseball was, and it resonated with so many people. People DM'd me, people commented, and just was like, yeah, Scotty, this is how politics is, and this is how this, and this is how that. When I tell you my son worked really hard, because listen, the way I teach my son, and I'm sorry, guys, I know I'm going off script or whatever, but the way I teach my son is, listen, man, we might not be the best player, but you don't want to be a liability to your team. That's the only thing I say. I tell my son every time, I said, listen, give 100% effort and we try not to be a liability. You know what a liability is, right? When the pass gets thrown to the kid who can't catch, or the kid that can't bat, he comes up to bat, everybody like, oh God. Like I never want my son to feel that, because you don't want to be that guy to where everybody's like, oh shit, here we go. This is out, right? Like that's where it's at for me, right? I tell my son, I say, hey, we're going to put the work in. And I always tell my son, practice makes progress. It doesn't make perfection. It makes progress. And as long as you keep putting the work in, right, you'll see the results. Don't worry about where you're at right now. Just keep putting the work in. And that's what he did. I'm talking about he probably, I swear to you and I lie to you not, my son, during baseball season, we probably did about 100 to 200 ground balls every other day. Every other day, he probably did 100 to 200 ground balls, just trying to get better. And we got a net in the house and a tee and all that. Had to buy all that. You know what I'm saying? Out here in Facebook Marketplace trying to buy baseball. Listen, fathers matter, okay? So all you fathers out there, you matter. So enjoy your day, okay? Because we matter, all right? Because my wife wasn't going to be out there on the field with him, hitting ground balls and making him throw to first base and making him play all those positions and hitting. And I had to buy an L screen and all type of stuff and throwing him the ball. And listen, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, all right? It is not easy, but I appreciate my son's grit. I appreciate all the support. And shout out to KP for taking me off topic, okay? So I just had to get that off my chest. Thank you, KP. I really appreciate it. I really did. I had to get that off my chest. It's been bothering me. All right, let's move along. Now, for what you all came for.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with them.
Now, let me just say this. Outside of...
Told y'all niggas, I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was swear, but I told y'all.
Outside of that.
It's funny how the tables turn.
It's just funny to me. It's funny how the tables turn. Okay? It's funny how they turn, because I remember when I was out here talking about it's daddy ball at Jackson State. I remember out here talking about it was daddy ball at Colorado. I remember getting on this platform numerous of times, day after day, and saying it's real funny to me. He can get on these press conferences and do all these different things, and he'll tell you, oh, we're competing at every position. We're bringing in new linemen. We're bringing in running backs. We're bringing in wide receivers. But you ain't never bring a goddamn quarterback in. You never brought anybody in to challenge your son, and I said that from day one. I said, it's funny to me. I said, all these guys promise bringing in, you getting 4-star wide receivers. You're getting 4-star running backs. You're getting 4-star this and 3-star this. I'm like, you can't find no stars in quarterback? You can't find no stars at quarterback. Like, nobody wants to play quarterback at Jackson State? Nobody wants to play quarterback at Colorado? But here's the answer for you.
I was thinking about going to Jackson State, but Dion was so real. He was like, hey, like, you're not this ain't a 50-50. My son's playing regardless. And
he said that?
Yeah. And
he's so like, even if you were better than
even if you were better, like, my son's playing regardless. He's like, we're
It's funny how the tables turn.
Told y'all niggas, I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was swear, but I told y'all.
I tried to tell y'all.
I was thinking about going to Jackson State, but Dion was so real. He was like, hey, like, you're not this ain't a 50-50. My son's playing regardless. And
he said that?
Yeah. And
he's so like, even if you were better than
even if you were better, like, my son's playing regardless. He's like, we're looking for a backup. He's like, if you want to come here and be backup. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I ain't no fucking backup. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not going to St. Francis because I can't go to.
Now, can I say something? Can I say something real quick? If we look at resumes, and you're not going to like this, the Deion Dick Riders ain't going to like this. If we look at resumes, his resume is better. He has better wins against harder competition. His resume is better than Shador's. If we looking at resume, if we looking at accomplishments, this Bama took Vanderbilt and beat Alabama. I'm going to say that again. This Bama took Vanderbilt and beat Alabama. He's a JUCO national champion. Shador has never won a bowl game. Never won a bowl game at any level. But I digress.
From there. So I was thinking, shit, New Mexico State's my only option.
Damn. What was it like getting recruited by Deion?
It was pretty cool. It was short, but he was real. That's what I like.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Deion Sanders sitting there, and for him to sit there with all the Shador Sanders stuff going on, he falls in the draft in the 5th round.
Yeah.
And essentially, you look back 5-6 years ago, he's like, hey, Diego, like, we'd love to have you, but, like, you'll be holding a clipboard because no matter what, my son's playing.
Yeah.
Even if you're throwing dots.
Yeah.
And then obviously the wrong guy to tell that to.
Yeah. Another good chip on his shoulder.
Right. Like, you got to lie.
Yeah.
You got to be less truthful.
Production saying just keep the mic close to your mouth.
Production.
What am I reaching on? What am I reaching on? What win? I need to understand. What win does Shador have on his whole entire resume that will compete with Vanderbilt beating Alabama? I'm confused. What win on Shador's resume is better than him taking New Mexico State and beating Auburn? I just need to understand, where's the fucking reach? Like, if you're going to dick ride for Deion and dick ride for Shador, that's fine. That's your preference. But at the end of the day, his resume does not compare to Powers. It just doesn't. And mind you, the opportunity to have a kid like that really could have set your program apart if you would have got a kid like that at Jackson State and would have taken you to another level to where you probably could have walked into a North Dakota State and probably been competitive or played a big-time G5 program, probably if you played ULM again and not been scared and punked out and didn't put them back on the schedule, right? Because if we're arguing, there is no significant win at Jackson State for the powerhouse teams that Deion built at Jackson State. There is not one powerful win. Like, you're like, oh shit. Like, oh my God, what a dub. Like, there's not one. It's not one. I'm not understanding. Like, think about this. A kid took Vanderbilt and beat Alabama. Shador couldn't take Colorado and get it. Shador went against BYU and got demolished. And he was favored. He was favored in Vegas, had him favored to win in the BYU game, and he got his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped against Kansas. He got his ass whooped against Nebraska. He got his ass whooped against Oregon. He lost against USC. I mean, goddamn, we can go on and on and on. On and on and on. I'm just confused. I'm just confused. So again, the daddy ball sentiment has to stand. And what I've said for the what I said, I don't give a damn. That's not what I said. I said they were favored. They were favored. Vegas had Colorado favored. Who gives a damn of how high they was ranked? They was favored. Period. So my issue is this, right? For the last 4 years that I have got on this platform, and I've said to you, I said, Shedeur has never experienced competition at the quarterback position. And again, when people say what they say about certain things, you got to understand it's a situation to where Shedeur never had to look over his shoulder. He never had to answer for any of the things that he had did. If it was holding the ball too long, if it was taking unnecessary sacks, if it was not doing or not running the offense accordingly or not being persistent or not being this or not being that, he never had to look over his shoulder to say somebody is coming to get me unless he was hurt or unless he could not go. And if you're a quarterback, there's not too many quarterbacks in college football that are that free to play the game. I think the last quarterback would probably be Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. And let me think. Trevor Lawrence at Clemson could probably play that free. And maybe Deshaun Watson at Clemson. Like, those are probably the only two guys that I could probably feel like that could play that free and knew they were starters, right? But, I need y'all to understand. Like, Jalen Hurts, like, think about that. He was the starter. He was messing up in the championship game. Nick Saban pulls him, puts Tua in. They win, and they never look back. You see, like, the way Deion had that team set up is not how college athletics goes. And again, and I kept telling people time and time again, the whole situation was set up for Shedeur to go to the league. That is it. That's the play from the beginning was to get Shedeur and Shiloh to the league. Kyle Murray at Oklahoma, definitely agree with that one, right? So Kyler Murray, but again, let me say this: that does not take away from Shedeur's ability to perform. I want to be very clear, right? Two things can be true: that he was given a role, but in the same token, Cam was only there for 1 year. That's why I said. That's why I didn't use Cam Newton, because he was in there for a year. Like, Cam Newton had to be there for like 2 or 3 years to where you didn't have to worry about a backup coming behind him, right? But two things can be true, right? That Shedeur never had to worry about competition, and then on the same token, Shedeur was good enough to perform at high levels in certain instances. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not saying Shedeur was a scrub. I'm not saying Shedeur was a bad quarterback. All I'm saying is Shedeur never had to face competition. Shedeur never had to look over his shoulder, and Shedeur was never challenged in his whole college career. I would take Pavia over Shedeur in a heartbeat, because I promise you, Pavia makes that BYU game way more competitive. Way more competitive. Now, again, and see, this is the thing. This is my point. This is my thing when people say this, right? They'll say because Shedeur is in the league that he's a better quarterback. And that's not always true, right? Because you have better college quarterbacks that don't make good pro quarterbacks. And I think Pavia is a great college quarterback. And I think he would have made Colorado he would have made Colorado a more dynamic offense if he was able to do the things that he was able to do. Now, he might not be the best pro prospect because of his size and his height and all those things around that, but Pavia is a baller. Thank you, Rocky. I was about to say that. Pavia is a better quarterback in college, and has better wins. He has better wins. He has better accolades than Shedeur at his job. I'm just saying, it's facts. He went to Vanderbilt, which was horrible. Vanderbilt has always been ass at football. And he turned them around year one in the SEC. People talk about Colorado. They went 4-11, 4-7, something crazy like that, 4-8. The first year that Deion was there. He gets to Vanderbilt and he turns them around. That's what happens when you have a great player. I'm not saying the 9-3 wasn't a great season. It was. But again, Palvia is doing it against better competition. That's just flat out what it is. If you're telling me, and you can tell by the draft, half the people in the draft come out the SEC. So he's going against draft picks on every level. So miss me with it. At the end of the day, like I've said, and I've said on numerous occasions, time and time again, it is what it is. Uncle Willie, coming to you.
Hey, Scotty.
What's up?
Thank you for taking my call, brother. First, this is what I called to tell you. I was going to respond to those haters, to those dick riders, but this is what I want to tell you, brother. I wanted to tell you this a couple years ago because it looked like your son was going to play baseball. Man, I'd be willing to work with you. I'm going to tell you something. My son, I had a couple players, they went to college. My son was chasing pussy, Scott. But he was a preseason unarmed All-American.
Oh, wow.
This Negro was playing varsity baseball in the 7th grade.
Wow.
Had them white boys. We'll talk about it. But look here, man, we need to work out something because I love to work with your son.
I'm
getting ready to work. I'm getting ready to work with my son played short. He was a 5-2 player, played all positions, but his primary position was pitcher and shortstop. He threw 95 miles an hour when he left high school. I developed all that. It's his hard work, but baseball is my love. But we need to we should work out something. You know,
I'm right here. Hey, Uncle Willie, I got you. I got your number.
Huh?
I'm gonna call you after the show. I got your number. I'm gonna text you after the show.
All right, my brother.
All right, appreciate it, Uncle Willie. I got you. 2336 coming to you.
Hey, what's up, Scott?
What's up?
Nothing much, man. I want to comment a little bit on what you were saying. And one of the things that I noticed by Colorado, the first year he was there, he constantly said that we can't run the ball. But I thought, in my mind, that he did not want to run the ball, and I thought that was he used that as the scapegoat to just pass the ball and pass Shador's stats.
Thank you.
And that's what I felt like he was doing that year. They couldn't pass block at all, but he continued to pass block. And I think part of the reason why you run the ball is to keep a defense off balance. But you end up, and then I saw him in the press conference saying, man, we can't run. The blocking is this, the blocking is that. He never really did blame Shador. But I did think that I said it's kind of funny that Shador plays in all these blowout games. And so where is the backup quarterback, at the end of games where you're down by 20 points or whatever, putting them in just to get him some action and, save Shador. But he kept Shador in the game. And that was kind of interesting to me. And another thing, too, man, is that I thought it was hard for the NFL to actually evaluate Shador because of Daddy Ball. And I think that they don't know. I thought the NFL didn't know whether, like, if he played and performed similar to what he did at Ohio State or, another big school with other coaching, then you can kind of say, okay, this is what he's going to be. But we don't know how much Deion propped him up, and I don't think the NFL knows how much, that they propped him up also. And another thing, the last thing I'll tell you, and I'll get off and listen, he went 9-3 in the Big 12, but I knew they was going to do better in the Big 12 than they did
in the Pac-12. Yeah.
They have Oregon, USC,
and then,
UCLA,
and think about it,
Washington, and all those.
And think about the Big 12 lost the top dogs the same year they came in.
Absolutely.
Texas gone, Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
There's no way they even have a winning record if those big dogs are still in the Big 12. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's right. And then the MAC, the Big 12 turned into the MAC conference with Miami, Ohio. That's pretty much what it is. It's a step above that. So they really caught a break with that, and everybody was running around town with that, like, oh, look what they're doing. But they're not. But when they had to play the Oregon States, the Washington State, USC, they weren't able to do it. So I just wanted to call and comment on that because when I saw that, and I've watched you a lot. It's my first time calling in. But when I saw your title, I said, well, what was going on there? And I didn't know. I never saw that clip. But that makes sense to me that, he didn't want any competition there because just in case a backup got in and played well, Now people are going to be asking some questions or whatever. But I don't think it did Shador any good because now when you don't never have to look over your shoulder, you can go out there and throw 5 interceptions. It doesn't matter because Dad's going to keep me in. Then it doesn't force you to play all the way up to your standards, man. And that's all I want to say, man. I'll listen, continue to listen to the show.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much for the call.
Yeah.
This is my thing, right? Like, this, again, this is what it can't be. It can't be when you win, it's Shador, and it kind of has that LeBron factor into it, right? It's like when you win, it's Shador. But when you lose, it's the O-line, it's the D-line. Nobody wanted to catch the ball. That doesn't. If your weakness has been the O-line for the last 4 years of your coaching, for 4 years, he's been coaching for 4 years. The O-line has been a problem for 4 years. Come on, man. Like, goddamn, like, that can't continually be an excuse. It can't. When you win, don't nobody talk about the O-line. When you win, nobody talk, great. As soon as you, if they could block, if they could just block, recruit better. What are we talking about? Coach Green, coming to you.
Man, what's up, dog?
What's up?
Long time, bro. Long time.
Yeah.
Glad to see you back, dog.
Never left.
hey, your son should have been on that All-Star team.
Dog, don't even. Woo, yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, but anyway, man, this is what I wanted to say, bro. I don't get I don't get what you're trying to say, because no matter how you put it, you can't take away. It's like you're trying to take away, Shador accomplishments, and you can't. It's all hypothetical. You don't know what if Shador was invented, but he probably would have did just like that quarterback did.
Everything is hypothetical, but this is the part where I stand. That's why I say two things can be true, or I won't say true. I'll say two things can be discussed, right, or talked about. Mm-hmm. Is that you don't know if Shador was the best option for the team. You do not know that. You don't, right? Because even though they've had the success that they had, you don't know if you would have went out and recruited a guy that was more athletic than your son, or could really throw it, or could spin it like your son. Because you can't tell me that Deion couldn't recruit a 3 or 4 star quarterback. Come on, that's crazy work, right? So, but when you neglectfully, you don't look for them. That's the issue with Deion. He neglectedly did not look for them as to be starters. You heard what Palva said. He said, if you come here, you're a backup. Even if you're better, this is no 50-50. My son is playing. You're only coming here to be a backup. So how many top talented quarterbacks did he talk to that said, bro, I'm not doing that. I'm better. I feel like I'm better than Shador. Go ahead.
But hold up now. It's a lot of other coaches that probably did the same thing when other quarterbacks start coming in. Let them know that, you're going to come off the bench. He just one of the few that spoke on it and said no. Because by other quarterbacks that chose other places to go because they was told, you ain't gonna be a starter, you're gonna come off the bench.
Okay, but
so he's not the first coach to do that.
You're right, he's not. But the problem is, this is where the problem comes in at, Coach Green, what you're saying. He didn't recruit the position to do so. Nobody in college athletics nobody in a top program is under recruiting quarterbacks. And what I mean by that is you're only recruiting quarterbacks to be backups. You're not doing that. You always have to have a guy in the pipeline. So again, when does he finally get guys in the pipeline? In Shador's senior season, where he gets the freshman guy, and then he goes and gets Caden Salter. Why does he go get those two guys? Because he knows Shador is out the door. So again, that's my point, is that You only recruited quarterbacks to the level we know you can recruit at because you are Deion Sanders, because players do want to play for you. When your son left, there was never a 4 to 3-star quarterback backing up Shador. Not once. Not once. But
look, if Shador wasn't good, you would have a great point. But
it's not about being good. It's not about being good. It's not about that, coach. The fact of the matter is it's about being authentic. If you're telling me every spot is competition except your son, you're lying. You're lying.
That go out there, but you know what? It's a lot of coaches go out there and lie and say the same thing, and it's not true. So you just hear them from one, but there's a lot of other coaches out there doing the same thing.
Again, you cannot say we're getting competitive at every spot except the one that your son plays. That's not being genuine. Because, again, I'm going to say this again. Coaches know if I don't have a quarterback, I don't have a season. So a lot of coaches can't do what Deion did to say, I know I got a guy that's going to stay for 4 years. There's not a college coach here today that's going to get a freshman and know for a shadow of a doubt he's going to be with me for 4 years. There's not a guy that in this day and age with NIL and money, there's not a program. So what are you doing every year? You have to re-recruit, and you still have to keep bringing in talent because somebody might come pay for your guy.
But unfortunately, his son was going to never leave. So no matter how you put it, his son is still going to be there. He wasn't going to leave.
But again, that's what makes it disingenuous that you never put anybody behind your son to make him compete for the starting job. Just because he was good does not mean he's the best. We never got to see the best out of him because we never saw him compete against anybody to have to go show I'm better than somebody. His 4 years of college athletics, he never had to go out and show I'm better than somebody else to get the job. It was already given to him, and it was laid at his feet. So whatever he would have done with it is what he would have done with it. Again, I'm not saying Shador is a bad quarterback, but I do believe there were quarterbacks that are better that could have got the job done in bigger games and bigger moments that would have made Deion's career better. I believe that. I believe that.
So you take away all the big moments that Shador had. That's what you're saying.
What big moment? What big moment? Tell me a big moment. What big game did he win? He has no big games on his resume. None.
Oh, stop.
Tell me what big game did he win? Stop. Tell me what big game did he win?
So you want me to go through it?
Tell me what big game he won. Tell me what big game he won.
Okay, let me pull it up then.
I don't need to pull nothing up. Tell me what big game he won.
Shoot, didn't they beat let me see. They beat rivalry game is always big. You know that, right? Right?
I'm waiting for you to tell me one.
I'm trying to pull it up now. I'm pull it up now so I can just sit in and take. Okay. Didn't they? Let's see who they played. They beat Baylor, didn't they?
They beat Baylor, but Baylor wasn't a good program.
Well, it was. They
was not a good program. They was not a good program. They were not a good program. Baylor is not a big game. TCU, the first game that they played against TCU when he went to Colorado was probably the biggest game just to step out and say we're going to win and we're not going to be suck. But after that, the first 3-4 games, they lost everything else. Any big program that they were not favored in, they lost. And then the games they were favored in, they still lost with Shador. NCCU, South Carolina State, BYU. I mean, I can go on and on. There's no big game on his resume.
But you can't put it all on him either. You gotta put it
then
on
you can't give him all the success either. You can't get him all the success.
He did pretty good at the half.
How can you say he did pretty good? Let me this is my issue. Let me tell you exactly my issue with Shedeur and the stigma that he has. My issue with Shedeur is this. He's the type of quarterback that if you're in a close game in the fourth quarter, you're glad you have him. But if you're getting blown out, you're done. You're done. Like, he's not the type of guy that just is going to rally everybody back and rally everything in. And we're gonna go. If it's a close game, you always feel like you're in the game with him. I would never take that away from Shedeur. If you give me one drive in the fourth quarter, I need a touchdown to win, I'll take Shedeur. In a college game, I will take Shedeur. That is a great attribute that he has. He has a clutch gene. I will never take that away from him. But there's a lot of things that is wrong with this game. And at the end of the day,
that's any quarterback. There's a lot of things.
I'm not saying this. I said that. I've said that. My issue is I don't think he was all world to not have to compete for his job. And the only reason he had the easiest 4 years of his life to not have to worry about anybody is because his dad was coaching him. And that is called daddy ball, regardless of what you want to call it. It's daddy ball. It doesn't take away that Shedeur has success. I'm not saying that Shedeur's success is all given towards daddy ball because he had to go out and play the games. We all understand that. But to never have to compete for a job is insane. It's insane.
Really I understand where you're coming from with that, but it really not. If he wasn't good, you would have a great point. If he wasn't good.
Okay, but he was never great. But he was never great. And that's the part of this that makes it, that's the part of this that I'm saying, is that you could have had, you don't know. Go ahead, Coach Green. I'm sorry.
So you saying what you call him great for Vanderbilt in 1 year?
Hell yeah! It's Vanderbilt and you beat fucking Alabama. Are you kidding me?
And they went 3-5 in conference.
And they was in a bowl game and they won their bowl game.
And they went 3-5
and they won their bowl game. When's the last time Vanderbilt even went to a bowl game?
It's been a while, but it's been
the same thing with Colorado. The same thing with Colorado. When's the last time Colorado been to a bowl game? A long time. Did they win it? No, they got fucking blown out. They got blown out.
They got blown out.
Blown out.
They played a way better team.
Who? What? Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is the same team that took Georgia Tech is the same team that took Georgia to 3 overtimes. Are you shitting me right now?
Come on, dog. Come on. Colorado didn't had no defense.
Dog, why do you keep making excuses? Why do you keep making excuses? Why are you making every team is not first of all, it's Vanderbilt. So do you think Vanderbilt is as talented as Alabama? Do you think Vanderbilt is as talented as Alabama? It's a yes or no question. Do you think Vanderbilt is as talented as Alabama? Yes or no?
Alabama was not Alabama this year.
You're not answering the question, sir. Do you think Vanderbilt was as talented as Alabama? That's a yes or no.
This year, yes. That's why they won.
Baco's green. Baco's green. That if you can't be honest, what are we talking about? If you cannot be honest, what are we talking about right now? You're telling me that Vanderbilt was as talented as Alabama? Get the fuck off the call. 8572 coming to you.
Hey, what's going on, Scotty?
What's up?
Hey, man, I called, man. You know, I tagged in that thing about why they opted in, man. I'm trying to figure it out. You barely got money, but you're gonna opt in to pay somebody. I'm just trying to figure out how that's gonna work out. Especially for the lower tier team, you already had Rocky chopped it up already. I don't know why the SWAC did that, man. I mean, I get it. You want to remain relevant, but it's not. The business model not gonna last, man. It's gonna eat those programs up, man. When it comes to Shedeur, I'm with you. I mean, it was daddy ball. He never had to compete. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's kind of, I don't know. Me personally, I think he kind of put his son in a bad situation. But what you think his prospects at the next level then?
Who?
You think he ever get a chance? Shador, you ever think he ever get a chance to really compete? Because I don't know what's going on with the Browns. It ain't preseason.
I think he's playing a very dangerous game with the speeding tickets. I think he's playing a very dangerous game because
that's Ohio, man. You know, Ohio always giving cats speed tickets. They notorious. You live in Ohio now. You know, I live in Michigan, so I already know. You go to Ohio.
Okay, so
the speed.
He was going 101. What you want to cop to do with that? He wasn't going 78 in a 70. The Bama's going 101 in a 65 or a 7. Like, what are we talking about? He's supposed to be locked up.
He don't. I don't know. Somebody must have tell him Ohio they get on that them speed tickets. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't get that one. I just kind of wish, man. But I get why you be on Deion, because Deion preach one thing and do another. I mean, sometimes you gotta be straight. You gotta be a straight arrow, man. If you gonna claim being a straight arrow, then you gotta be a straight arrow. Because if you don't,
that's my thing, right? Like, again, this is my thing. I just don't like the fact that you're making everybody else on the team compete for their spot except your son. That just doesn't sit right with me. Because if your son's that good, let him. If he's that good, he's just that good, right? Like, just go get. Mm-hmm. Oh, he ain't as good as Shador. Okay, nobody could argue if he's not. But everybody else got to compete. The wide receivers, the linebackers, the D tackles, the O line, the safeties, except your son, right? Everybody got to compete for their spot. But Shador and Shiloh, that's just crazy. That's crazy work to me.
And when his son Shiloh came back from the game being injured, man, was at the Kansas State game. I mean, it looked bad out there. I'm kind of glad Shiloh kind of rebounded, but man, that's why I said you can't. I don't know, man. Some people got a different perspective on life. My father he would never, out. If I wasn't doing what I was supposed to, my dad would just, he'd just keep me to the curb. You know what I'm saying? I've been around, like I said, I played basketball. I'll never forget, man, my basketball coach, he kind of would say, he tell us to our face, I'm going to play my son. He'd tell us to our face. I didn't like it, but some people like that, man. Everybody ain't, some people don't, I don't know. It's hard because you want to make sure your son win, but you also want to make sure your son earn it. So sometimes I just think, man, people, if you're going to say one thing, you need to be straight down the middle. You can't flippy-flop. But, hey, man, I love the show always. Scotty, man, keep the contact. Hey, I got one thing for you before I get out.
What's up?
What do you think this season going to look like, man, for the SWAC? I think it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams come out, man. I really want to see what Jermaine going to do.
I want to see what Tremaine does. I want to know what the quarterback at PV going to look like. I think that's the biggest factor to me. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I think the people we think are supposed to be good, I think they might be okay. And I think the programs that we thought were kind of going to be in the wayside, I think they're going to be competitive, right? So, be on the lookout for A&M. I like what they're doing at the quarterback. Listen, if you don't have a quarterback in the SWAC, you don't have a chance. And I like what A&M has done. I think A&M has the best quarterback room in the SWAC, and that's flat out. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I thought the same thing. Scotty. The man, he don't really do a lot of talking, but one thing always stuck in my mind when Coach Cole said that he's a builder. The two new coaches that we talked about the most are builders. They're going to build a team. And some of these other teams better watch out. But I got something for you that you might think I'm kind of off base. Alabama State going to be a lot better than what people think they're going to be. They're going to surprise you.
Yeah, if Andrew's healthy, they're going to be a problem. And I think they have a great foundation that they built when he went down to know that they can run the ball with Kinsey, and they have really good weapons at the wide receiver position, and their defense is usually never the problem. So I would be surprised if they're not competitive or in the discussion of winning. But the key is, and this is the kicker for me, it's what what does Jacobian Morgan look like year 2 at Jackson? If he doesn't take a step forward, then I think a lot of teams are going to catch up to what Jackson was trying to do and just be physical and at the point of attack and stop the run. If Jacobian Morgan takes another step as a quarterback, that's going to be hard to compete with, because you got to have now they have the balance of the wide receivers and the running game. That's going to be a dangerous team.
I got one thing before I leave, though, Scott. I know I kept on saying it. Man, I think Eddie Robb this time when he used the body is going to be a lot different than last year, man. I got a feeling he's not going to – I think we get on Eddie a lot, man, but Eddie Robb going to be a lot different this year. That's why I think the MAC is going to be – the SWAC is going to be wide open. And the teams that you thought was going to be good may not be as good as you think they're going to be.
That's fair.
I'll leave it at that.
Man, I appreciate the call as always, man. Appreciate the support. Listen, at the end of the day, I agree with Ron Tom. We don't agree on a lot of things, but I do agree on some of the stuff he be talking about. Like, it's better for the conference if there's parity in the conference, right? It just sounds better. Again, I think Grambling is not going to win anything, but I do think they're going to be a better team. I think Southern's going to be as always. Listen, man, I'm not a fan of Terrence Graves. I don't think he's a great coach. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of those games, I think Rocky said it perfectly. They had a rabbit's foot, a lucky 3-leaf clover. He was eating Lucky Charms every day. I don't know what it was, okay? He was watching. I don't know. I don't think Terrence Graves is a great coach. I don't think they have a great staff. There's nothing about that Southern team that I think was special at all. I just think they defensive line was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. The defensive line was pretty good. But I don't think anything about that Southern team was just like, oh, my God, they're so good that they should have been in the SWAC championship. But you know how it is you're in a sorry-ass conference. Your conference don't do nothing. You come out on top, and then, bam, you're in the SWAC championship game. That's pretty much how it went down. So we'll see what it looks like in year 2. Listen, at the end of the day, I think I'm going to go to the Shador thing, and then I'm going to go back to the SWAC, right? Somebody asked me, what do I feel with Shador in the league? I think Shador has a lot of potential to be a Dak Prescott, a Jalen Hurts, a Brock Purdy, right? To a person that needs development early and can be really good. And could be really good on the back end of his career, like after year 4, 5, and 6, like he's coming into his own and really taking the next step. Again, as I'm saying, I'm not saying Shador is a bad quarterback. I would never say that, because I do think he's a very serviceable quarterback, and I think he could be a really good pro. But I think the issue with him right now is those speeding tickets are just a bad look. You're a 5th-round draft pick, and you already have the distractions that you have of being who you are, on top of not doing the right thing. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It just does not make sense. Yeah. So, and again, for me, I can't judge anything until I see him in a preseason game. Until I see him with somebody different across the field, then I'll say, like, he can probably start or whatever, but not until preseason game. Now, going back to SWAC, I don't hate Southern. I want to be very clear. I do not hate Southern. My wife would not allow me to hate Southern, right? Because if I hate Southern, that means she'd be like, you don't like me, and I love Southern. So that's not. I'm going to be very clear. I don't hate Southern. That's not. Shout out to Miss Chenault. And she hooked up a young man from Southern baseball team to FaceTime my son and talk about baseball, right? So shout out, like, again, Southern has not done anything wrong to me. Shout out to Perry. Perry always treats me and my wife well when we go to great hospitality, right? Jay from Swacking the Fool, great hospitality all the way around. Southern has great hospitality all the way around, as just what it is, right? Now, football-wise, I don't see the Southern that people have bragged about of what you used to be. I don't see that. And I don't see it with Terrence Graves. I don't understand I don't understand how they're building the team. I don't understand about the players you're bringing in. It just does not make sense. That's all I'm saying. It just doesn't make sense. Okay? At the end of the day, how Southern is building their team just does not make sense to me, and I don't think Terrence Graves is a great recruiter. Now, I do believe if Fred McNair takes over the program, I do believe it will be better than if Terrence Graves did it. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not the biggest Fred McNair fan, but I do believe Fred McNair is a great CEO. I do believe that, right? I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. Fred McNair is a great CEO if he goes down that pathway. If Southern does decide to go down that pathway, which to me is not a. But let me be very clear. I don't think that is a great choice. I think listen, Southern needs a Tremaine Jackson. Southern needs a head coach with the resume and the moxie and the aura to really bring back that Southern arrogance and Southern pride to the program. That is what they need, right? You need that type of guy to where they gonna stand on business and say, we Southern, we doing it this way. This how we gonna do it. I don't know where you're gonna find that guy at. I don't know. Me personally, what I would do is I would head over to Tennessee State. I would take Shannon Harris away from Tennessee State, the UFL head coach who just won the UFL championship. He's going to be on staff at Tennessee State. I would head on over to Tennessee State. I would grab Shannon Harris, and I would happily bring his ass to Southern. That is the type of personality you need at Southern University. Somebody that has some moxie, has some grit, has some aura about them, and really would put the program on his back. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, if he's watching, I do believe KJ Black said he would be interested in the Southern job. I do believe that. I do believe he said that to me. I have to double check, but I do believe KJ Black said he would be interested in the Southern job. I would reach out to KJ Black. Now, mind you, you gonna have to pay him more than what you was paying Dooley. Okay, the Bama's at the Atlanta Falcons. I just want to be very clear about what that I'm telling you right now. Whatever you was paying Dooley, you gonna have to pay KJ Black more. I'm just telling you that right now. He ain't walking through the door getting paid less than Dooley. It ain't happening. Don't even pick up his number. Don't even pick up his arm. Don't even do that. All right? Don't even. So, want to make that very clear. Another coach. Let me see that I think Southern should get. Man, I would look at. Listen, man. Southern probably won't go for a white coach, but I'll be looking at that D2 coach from one of them white schools that be winning them D2 national championships. Man, listen, bro. Some point you just gotta step out the box. I'm sorry. Like, you might hear, I know Uncle Flug gonna be like, we don't need no white man and da-da-da. Listen, man. Y'all niggas been getting knocked across y'all head for the last 5+ years by Jackson. Y'all gonna have to change the shit up, okay? You done had Dooley, that shit was ass. You ran Odoms out the building. You had Dooley, that shit was tragic. I don't even know how he got hired in the first place. Then you went to Terrence Graves because he won a Bayou Classic, and you went to a SWAC championship, lost again. You know what I'm saying? Like, lost to the backup quarterback. Just shit ain't right, okay? Shit ain't right. Who else? So wouldn't be opposed to a white coach. I think Shannon Harris would be a great hire for Southern. Who else? Listen. Now, you might not go for it. But I think Tony Hall at Southern University.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and
Hey, listen. Tony Hall, the offensive coordinator at UAPB. I'm telling you right now, I think that would be a slam dunk hire. And let me explain to you why. The reason why I think Tony Hall, he's a Louisiana kid from the boot, born and raised. He has Power 5 experience at Kansas State. He's coached all levels. He's a damn good recruiter. And to me, he coaches quarterbacks really, really well, right? He would be kind of like the Willie Simmons type to where he can call the plays and talk to the quarterback and recruit the quarterback. I think Tony Hall at Southern University would be such a great hire. Such a great hire. I really believe that. Really believe that. I think Tony Hall doesn't get enough credit, man. I'm really serious. Tony Hall does not get enough credit for his stuff. He recruits the area really well. I think Tony Hall would be such a great hire. Such a great hire. Such a great hire. So those are like my 2 cents. But I'm telling you, Tony Hall for Southern University, I'm telling you, it'd be a great hire. He's young. He can build it. Gives you time. You're going to be innovative on offense. I think he's going to have a great staff because he has a lot of connections to a lot of different people. So you're going to see a lot of different faces in his staff. It just won't be all SWAC retreads, right? He probably going to get some Power 5 guys, some G5 guys, some high school guys. And again, he's from New Orleans, so he's going to have that. When Dooley was coming in, that's all Jay was talking about. Oh, he gonna recruit New Orleans, and he gonna recruit New Orleans. He from New Orleans. He love Louisiana, and got their ass whooped. Got their ass whooped year after year. Year after year, still getting their ass whooped. So Tony Hall can do the same thing, but be better at it. He's a better offensive coordinator than Eric Dooley is. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think Tony Hall would be a great hire at Southern University. Just my little 2 cents. And you wouldn't have to break the bank to go get him. You wouldn't have to break the bank to go get him. Probably pay him about $275, about $300,000. He walking in the door. $250. He ain't going nowhere. Listen, that Bama ain't going nowhere. Dancy done made it. Listen, Dancy done made it out the hood, okay? Dancy like that uncle from Next Friday. I know I was the one that said I'd never leave the hood, but when I got my check, I was gone. That's Dancy. Dancy ain't coming back. Dancy ain't. Dancy is not coming back to the Chitlin circuit. That boy is gone, okay? He is out of there. Sayonara suckers, okay? That Bama is not looking back. You got out of Valley unscathed? Oh, no, he owes Deion his life. He owes Deion his football career. You got out of Valley unscathed? Shit, that boy slipped up out of that Valley job. Was like, oh shit, I'm out the gate. 88. So hell no, he ain't coming back. So I'm just curious. I'm curious. So we'll see. We'll see how everything. Listen, I'm excited. Oh, and again, listen. Game of the year. Now I still ain't got no Norfolk gear. And you know who I know is watching. I still ain't got no Norfolk gear. You watching? I know you watching, right? Game of the year in Philly, Lincoln Field. Listen, okay? It ain't about Trey Oliver. It ain't about the Larry Scott. It ain't about him. It ain't about Chennis Berry. I don't give a damn about none of that. Delaware State, Norfolk State at the Link is the game of the year. I don't care if they come in that game 0-36. Both of them can be 0-36. Don't care. Game of the year. 95-84 coming to you.
Yo, Scotty.
What's up, man?
What up? Couple things. That could be the game of the year in what they playing in Philadelphia. So
yeah.
That could possibly be game of the year if they both rolling. With the Southern thing, you might be on something with Tony Hall. I hope they don't hire him. Hope they Southern be Southern. Next thing, it's hard to unseat a experienced quarterback. That was the problem that pretty much Deion had. Once Shador got experience, it was going to be hard to unseat him from any position.
That's a good
Because
point.
you was bringing
Great
in
point.
somebody else who didn't have that kind of experience.
Yeah, great point.
Next thing, I heard somebody say about why did the SWAC opt in. Everybody's opting in my opinion, to stop the transfer portal. The SWAC opted in, and this is something for you to kind of debate and think about, is how much do you think P4 teams will pay for a player? Because I'm guessing if you signing somebody to a contract, it's going to be a 4-year contract. You're going to do buyouts. It's probably going to be a tiered approach depending on what the position is.
Wow.
You're trying to get my starting quarterback. You might pay $60,000, $100,000 for it. That's the buyout. That's how SWAC teams and a lot of these other teams are going to make their money off kids transferring in the buyout. And it's about how much they're going to pay. Because you probably not going to be transferring to the Power 5, but if you're going to Southern Miss, Troy, all those other schools, how much are they willing to pay for your players at that point?
That's a great point. I think if you could get buyouts for where FCS programs are able to get money if you steal my players or if you come and take them and something like, I think that's great. I think that would be outstanding because, okay, perfect example, right? Like UAPB found that kid, the wide receiver kid that went to Oklahoma. Like they should be compensated for that. They did the development. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like we had to find this kid, had to use him, develop him, get him to a level to now here you come and say, oh, thank you, and he might be a backup. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably won't even be a starter. He might be a backup. So I think schools like, the FCS programs that are being these feeder programs, they do need to get kickbacks off of developing this talent. I honestly believe that, and if that's the case, if you opting in allows you to do that, then I 100% agree that is the best option for FCS programs overall.
Yeah, and that's what I believe. That's what they're going to end up looking at. So if you Alcorn, Malachi Bailey transferring to Texas Tech, you get money out there. Or women's basketball, Destiny Brown transferring to what UNLV. You start to add up all these players that are transferring that are top in your conference. You probably can end up making a nice little penny that kind of helps pay for the program and kind of raise athletic budgets going forward. So that's just my little 2 cents, though.
Hey, listen, I think it would be great if all things were fair in love and war. So I think there needs to be some sort of consequences for stealing players, and because everything can't be free agency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just can't. Like, it's like if you're gonna make this a salary cap, make it a true salary cap to where now things have to get bought out a right way or moved a certain way and things like that. So I'm down with it. If you want to make it professional all the way around and keep it a buck.
And they saying money games might end up going away too. So a lot of the Power Fives are going to end up playing each other, so they might cut into the smaller school budget when you look at it from that standpoint. So they're going to have to depend on something to start to make some kind of other revenue besides, hey, we playing Ohio State this year, ain't going to get $1 million. So you got to start to kind of think about that.
I think that would – I know for a fact Power 4 schools are going to get away from playing FCS programs. That is going to complete that is coming down the pipeline. Especially if you're in the SEC and Big Ten, they're not going to allow you to play the fluky games or whatever. The issue is if G5 stop doing that, that's where you're really going to hurt yourself at, because those Southern Miss games and ULM games and Texas State games where they might pay you $175 or $150 or $200,000. That's a nice little chunk of change for your budget. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that you got to be worried about.
Yeah. So all right then. Well, that's all I had. So I'll let you get back to it, and hey, be easy.
All right, man. Appreciate the call. So for me, listen, I'm excited for this season, man. And for once in a long time, I'm excited for the SWAC and the MEAC. I usually don't be caring about the MEAC, but y'all know listen, I am on the celebrity train. Choo choo. I haven't picked, like, listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I like. I don't know if y'all have seen some of the new kids that Deshaun Jackson has scooped up, like quarterback wise and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Like I ain't gonna fake it. It's looking pretty good. And I think for me, what I'm just curious to see how they put it together. I think they have a really great staff. I think they have a really seasoned staff to understand what is going on. And I think what I like about this is what I love about Norfolk and Delaware State. I think both programs are doing what's best for their program, right? Like Deshaun, his network is Cali. So he's tapping into those networks to get kids that he wants, including some local kids or whatever, but he's really tapping into his California roots. And then you got Norfolk, which half of the staff is from the area, and they know the area like the back of their hand. So they saying, listen, we just take care of the 757 and we going to be straight, right? So I love that they're both leaning into their strengths on what they feel will make their programs competitive in the MEAC, right? And I'm just curious to see, because I'm telling you, I don't know who is going to do it first, but I'm telling you right now, one of those programs is going to knock off an NCCU or South Carolina State. I do not know who. It could be both. I don't know. But you only got 5 games, 6 teams, 5, 6, whatever, round robin over there. They got a 5-16 round robin. That shit is whack. But I feel it in my bones that Norfolk or Delaware State is going to be a problem. One of those programs is going to be a problem, and one of those programs are going to be in contention for the MEAC championship. I'm saying it now. People are going to be like, oh, I do not believe they're going to be at the bottom. I would not be surprised if Howard is closer to the bottom than one of these programs. I think they might be in the middle. I think it might be NCCU, then Delaware or Norfolk, and then maybe Chennis, and then maybe Delaware State or Norfolk in 4th, and then you have Morgan and whatever, kind of bringing up the rear and things like that. So, but I think those two programs really, because again, and let me just say this, I know Chennis and Trey and Larry, they all have pride, but with the celebrities, I believe it just, I don't really know about Vic. Vic seemed too laissez-faire for me. But I think for Deshaun, Deshaun cares too much. Like, he cares too much. You know, like somebody's like competitive in everything, like checkers and Uno and chess. Like, he has to beat you. Like, that's the energy I get from Deshaun Jackson, to where he don't like to lose. And he don't want to, whatever he puts his hand in, he don't want to lose. I think Michael Vick is one of those dudes like I'm cool and I'm great, so I'm always going to be great, and it don't matter what I do, I'm still great. Like, that's the vibe I get from Vic, but to each his own. But I think the people he brought in around him don't want to lose, and I think that's where the competitive fire for that program is, right? Like, I think Vic is a competitor, but not to the point where Deshaun Jackson is like, dog, like, by any means necessary, we trying to win. And I don't think that's Michael Vick. I could be wrong, but I get those vibes from Deshaun Jackson. And then when you're talking about former teammates and being at the link and being at the financial field, I think it's gonna make an interesting season. Last part before I get up out of here. I think the thing for me is this. I want to go to the Lincoln Financial Field. I want to go to the game. I'm a Cowboys fan. It's really burning my chest to just walk into Lincoln Financial, not going to see a Cowboys game, just walking into the link and watching a SWAC game, watching a MEAC game. I still haven't gotten over that yet. Like, I'm still trying to process that, so bear with me. Like, I want to go to the game. I really do. But I'm just trying to process, Lincoln Financial, Eagles. It just, very shaky for me. Just very shaky for me. But listen, appreciate everybody that's tuned in for this, man. I'm going to try to come back on a little bit more than usual. Like I said, it's the off season. It's got a lot of stuff going on. He said, "What's up, man?" Come on, shout out to my man, Coach Hayes. Thanks, Coach. Got a lot of stuff going on. My son's about to start football season, so it's being hectic over here, man. So we getting ready for that. Uncle Willie, I'm going to hit you up after the show. I'm going to text you, so check your phone. Listen, until next time, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to holler. God bless. See, I got to figure out how to end this thing, man, because I don't really know how to end this jank. Let me see. Boop, 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 boop. All right, here we go. Found it. All right, here we go.